Hey, this is me building and strategizing a $2 million a year business in public. Last month I made 139 grand. And next month I want to hit 167. And the way that all this works is I start off by providing some daily Q&A. So people will ask questions on this channel, then I go through them and then answer them to the best of my ability. We then do some growth stats, which is just my growth over the course of the last 24 hours across all of my brands. And then finally, I do some live strategy. Today, it's going to be some content strategy where I go through and then I basically develop an outline for one of my videos. So that's what we're looking at. Let's jump in with the daily QA. This is the wrong channel. Let's jump over to Nick Saraev Daily Updates. And we want to go to Community. And then I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just trying to respect the people's time who sent me the question or posted a question as a comment on my YouTube channel the earliest. So starting at the very bottom, we have Ruben Amake who says, "Sir, can I please get a role in any of your businesses? Please, I'm ready to learn my way into any role you're willing to outsource, please." No, I'm not looking to hire anybody. Also, from my perspective, like the time that it would take me to probably train you to the point where you're capable of delivering me value, just given that my time is I make over $1,000 an hour realistically, or maybe $700 or $800 an hour realistically if you amortize it across the whole month. It's not really worth it for me to train you, even if it's for free or whatever. Basically, the sunk cost would be higher than whatever I would make off of you, most likely, unless you're just truly exceptional at something. My recommendation for you, though, is not to take this as a negative. The fact that you're reaching out to people like me to try and get work is good, and if you consistently demonstrate this sort of candor, I think that the sky's the limit. So my recommendation for you would be, you've pitched this to me as like a job where it would take me work in order to respond to this. Like, can I get a role in any of your businesses? Well, now I need to determine what role I have available. That takes time. I'm ready to learn my way into any role you're willing to outsource. And so now I have to think about, what sort of training, how can I teach you? How exactly can you learn? What you're doing is you're positioning this as very me focused, right? But if you reach out to people and you're looking to have them accept something from you, you got to make it very them focused. So if I were you, I would go through maybe top creators that you like or people that you might want to work with or something, and identify some problems that you think that they're currently struggling with, some problems that their, content has that maybe could be better. Focus on some quick, simple win. Like maybe a lot of YouTube creators, they want content ideas. So maybe you come up with like 50 content ideas by doing some research or something in the niche. This is what a guy actually did word for word with me called Rock, and he sent me an email and then I ended up hiring him like on the spot. Or maybe there are some quick and easy fixes you could make to the thumbnails, or maybe you go on their Instagram and there's some quick and easy fix you could make to like their names or their bios or something that like they're just overlooking, okay? And just focus on doing a little bit of work before you actually make the ask. And then don't present your ask as, hey, please, can I get a role in any of your businesses? Wherever you place me, I'll do work, I'm ready to learn and stuff like that. Because nobody really cares about that. The obvious assumption is like, if you're going to work with me, you're obviously ready to learn. Instead, position it as a, hey, I'd like to provide you some value up front. I'm an avid viewer and watcher of your channel, or I've been, consuming your stuff for a while. Here's one little fix you could make in 30 seconds that would provide X, Y, and Z value. No pressure on this, but I do this sort of thing professionally. If, you want to work together, just let me know. So if you front load with value, as opposed to front loading with an ask, right? This would take me an indeterminate amount of time to solve myself. Your likelihood of getting a position is a lot better. And it also demonstrates to the person that you're reaching out to, most of the time you're going to be reaching out to people that are making, more money than the vast majority of the world, right? Like if they're influencers or content creators or something, successful ones at that. It demonstrates that you understand just how many other people ask this sort of stuff on a daily basis. Like probably like 20 people ask me this now on a daily basis. So, like respecting their time will make you stand out like crazy. And that's the number one thing that I look for, because it demonstrates that you have some business experience. You're obviously good at modeling. Like you're very empathetic, all skills that, make you a killer. So that would be my recommendation for you, Ruben. Take that and do whatever you want with it. Maybe record custom Loom videos, solving a specific problem for big creators in 30 seconds or less, stuff like that. Thank you very much, Tyrone. Yeah, RAG was cool to address for sure. Okay, WF Mackey 9075 says, "Hey Nick, your content's absolutely top notch. I always find myself gleaning valuable insights into the ever-evolving AI landscape. I've got a suggestion that I think could be a game changer for your channel. How about diving into the world of prompt engineering?" Well, that's very funny because I actually did a video on that just yesterday. Also, I have a feeling you ChatGPT'd this. This fascinating topic often flies under the radar. You want to know how I know? Gleaning is a word that like very, very few humans will use. Game changer is something that like AI, LLMs that are RLHF, they're trained via reinforcement learning, via human feedback, tend to use. They also tend to use like judicious adjectives like this, flies under the radar. They use words like crucial, harness, full potential, complexities, So I have a feeling you probably use ChatGPT for this. That's not that bad. I just wanted to point it out. It's only bad insofar that the people that are reading this will know. So yeah, I did do a video on prompt engineering. You want to check it out? Just head over to Nick Saraev, 53 minutes of prompt engineering, I think. Yeah, right over here. Pretty good video, if I do say so myself. All right, Nick, shut up. It's a pretty good video, if I do say so myself. It's not the most viral video I've ever published, but it's definitely getting there. Really appreciate that, Koldar. Yeah, and I've just been crushing, banging out the content recently. So yeah, this one's good. I basically just did a deep dive onto the last 6 years of prompt engineering. I mentioned $2.4 million here. The amount of money that prompt engineering has made me is much more than this. But this is really just the last couple of years of me building these sorts of businesses, doing like 1 second copy and left click and so on and so forth, which I think are like the big ones. So yeah, check it out. Let me know what your thoughts, and hopefully that helps you. Will says, you have a place in Halifax? I do not know. I was just staying at an Airbnb. It's a great Airbnb though, no major issues. Errol sent me a message. He thought he got banned from my channel for whatever reason. He was like, hey Nick, why did you ban me? I didn't ban you, and I did not add you to any block list or whatever. Sometimes YouTube automod probably like takes comments that have a higher statistical likelihood of being spam for whatever reason. They probably just like hide them for a while. But I didn't do that at all, Errol. And thank you very much for the kind words and also the email. Rio No Code says, bro, I love the Loom video situation. My only beef is my computer. Like, Loom makes it bug out, so recordings always end up unstable. Maybe getting a webcam will help, but if that wasn't a problem, I'd knock out 20 a day. 10 a day is doable, though. Yeah, great call. Listen, it's probably your computer more so than it is your webcam. It's probably like just a RAM issue, just like a memory on your computer thing. What are you using, man? Like, update the comment down below and let me know. And then the next time that I see this, like I'll find it, and in one of the future videos I can do a follow-up. But yeah, like I used to have this issue when I was using a really, really crappy computer. I'd have like 5 tabs open, and then I'd run a Loom, and then the Loom would just come out and it'd be kind of jittery. So I don't know if like the bit rate wasn't sufficient or something. I'm not like a video encoding professional, but bit rate tends to be the major factor, I think. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with your end, but like, I gotta say, like, I invested almost $5,000 into the top of the line MacBook, I guess a couple years ago now, or a year and a half ago now. And I really didn't want to. I was looking at this purchase and I was like, Jesus Christ, man, like that's that much money for like a little hunk of like steel and aluminum or whatever the hell it's made out of. Like, I'm not going to need that. But I had a conversation with my father about it, actually. My father said something along the lines of, it's time for you to invest in the best quality equipment because you're probably only going to continue making more money and continuing to work harder and so on and so forth. If you can make your life even 5% easier, and he says that he's told me that the best quality MacBook would make my life more than 5% easier. He said that's 5% more money. It's not a 9 to 5. So it's not like I'm clocking into work and then going home. It's like I work whenever I want. So it depends on how convenient the work is, how comfortable the work is, how much friction is involved in the work. So very, very wise words from my father. I'm very happy about that. I ended up making just that silly, huge purchase, and I ended up being one of the better ones. So I'm not telling you to invest $5,000 in a freaking 14-inch laptop or anything, but John says, why use Loom when you can just turn a camera or smartphone on and record? It's just easy use, really. Like, check this out. If I just click this one button up here, top right-hand corner, I can then just click start recording. And then the benefit is I now have an asset that is web accessible. Like after you're done the recording, we get a little link, right? When you have this asset, you could repurpose this and reuse this anytime that you want simply by copying and pasting that link anywhere. If you use, like, let's say a DSLR camera, or if you use a smartphone, a couple things. One, like, how am I supposed to share my screen, right? So the sharing a screen aspect is really big. But two, I have to take that file, upload it download it onto my computer, then upload it somewhere else. Then I get some link and then I send it. That's like 3 or 4 additional steps, John. And it's just a massive pain in the butt for the sorts of applications and sorts of outreach that I'm doing. So hopefully that helps. Your impact investor says your daily update strategy is working. I check your channel every day now. Consistency compounds. It absolutely does. I am convinced that daily is still the best way for small channels to grow. Post once a day, every day, at around the same time, and you will build and cultivate a habit of people that are interested in what you have to say. and that learn from you, and they will like show up every day as they eat their lunch or something and watch your video. If you miss a few days, that tends to go down. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. That's my personal theory. I don't know for sure, but that's the way that I see things. Daily updates is also very good for me from an accountability perspective, because I'll be real, some days I just don't want to do anything. I usually still do, but some days I really don't want to do anything. I just kind of want to like not like today was one of those days, but I really just sometimes want to like crawl under the covers and just like put the blanket over my head and be like, I'm not doing anything today. And I don't know why. I've just always been that way. But when I have to do some sort of presenting or some sort of talking or something, I find that like, although it's difficult to get started, the second that I do it and I get into it for a few minutes, like that feeling tends to disappear. Like my brain wants to work even if my body doesn't. So this is just a quick and easy way for me to like get the ball rolling on something a little bigger. And then it also helps anchor my intention towards doing content every day, which is something that I think is probably the highest leverage usage of my time. So that's the vibe. David says Ecamm has its ISO recording where each input and screen share is recorded to separate files, as well as a program recording, which is the final output set. That looks pretty cool. What's Ecamm? Ecamm Live? I don't think I've ever seen this thing before. That's pretty sweet. So you can record separate streams with this, eh? Ooh, that's nice. Okay, yeah. And you can also stream. Catch me out here streaming my League of Legends games. I mean, I will say like my current setup now works. The first few days did not work. Like, I know you just left this a day ago, and this is on this one. I was having some major issues with Source Record and all these plugins. Now I have a good flow. And what's cool is, what I love is that you guys saw it all live if you're with me. Like you saw me struggling with this, and now I've solved it. And because of this, my content funnel has been working like crazy. We're publishing just a stupid amount of content right now. Those Reels channels are all up. We're doing one a day across 10. Like check this out, right? Like boom, 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 boom. These are all Reels that we've done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Like these are 24 pieces of content basically that have now been done in just the last 3 days. So I'm recording right now a face cam. Let me see if could I drag this out? I don't know if you'll be able to see this. No, you can't see this because I've hidden this from OBS. That's okay. Anyway, I'm recording like a face cam on one, which is why I'm trying to look at the camera more. Cause, like the way that people clip stuff is usually it's like you're looking at the camera during a clip. If I'm just looking down all the time, it's a little harder. So if you've ever wondered why I'm like looking at the camera, it's just to make my content a little bit more repurposable. Okay, JD2161 gives me a hell of a compliment. No comments, huh? You're one of the best automation guys on YouTube. I'm building a SaaS learning from your real estate AI platform. Thank you. Sinatra Foreign says you flashed your whole number for the internet to see. Yes, I did. And I've gotten some calls for sure. I'm all right with that. I don't mind. It's not that big of a deal. Real to Yusuf says, I'm hilariously stuck between choosing copywriting or AI automation. What in the world do I do? I would definitely go AI automation for sure. Like copywriting we're getting to the point where pretty soon models are going to be able to copyright better than us, right? But the distance between us and when models will be able to copyright at 90th percentile is smaller. This is 90th percentile copywriting. The distance between this, I would say, is shorter than the distance between us and then like a model's ability to run a AI automation agency. So if you want longevity, this is what you're going to want to focus on. And I think like we're really close. I think human copywriters will still be better for probably the next couple of years, but Sync System says, hey, thanks for all the value in the content. What are the best services to offer to content creators? I'm currently offering repurposing, long to short, long to text, etc., and scheduling it to their social accounts. Not sure if there are other opportunities I'm missing out on. As a content creator self, assuming you didn't know automation, what pain points are you running into that automation could solve? Great question. Couple of major pain points. One is, you know what? I'm rainbow moding today. The first one is like content ideas. Okay. Maybe I'll go flowy. We'll do some cursive. That looks better. Content ideas. So like top level, AI can really help with this. You basically just research what everybody else is doing. And then you see if there are some unique angles that you can add to this that other people aren't doing. So you could scrape a big list of YouTube videos or Instagram Reels or whatever in a specific niche. Then you could funnel all that stuff into some sort of summary bot and just have a list of summaries. Now, instead of you having to do all that research yourself, once a day, it's just added to some big Google sheet, and then you just go through and you're like, oh, you know what? That's pretty cool. I could definitely add something unique to that. And then you mark off the ideas. You could also have it automatically generate titles for you based off high-performing templates and stuff. This is what I meant by the copywriting is getting pretty good. It's not going to be perfect, and definitely like employ your own human touch to it, because the title and the thumbnail, these are both the highest leverage pieces of content there, what determine really how viral your thing goes. But yeah, content ideas is a really, really big one. You mentioned repurposing. I would agree. I think repurposing is huge. So it's basically what we're doing now, right? So going long to short, long to text, take that text, distributing it across a variety of platforms. I think that there's a lot of value that you could provide in repurposing content from other creators, not in the same niche as you, but in niches that have some sort of intersection. So, one thing that we're doing with the Instagram, right, that I was telling you about, and we had some bug with the system, so we haven't actually been using it in the last couple of days. Last few days, I should say. But basically, like when I scrape Instagram Reels, I'm not scraping Instagram Reels from other AI automation creators. I'm scraping Instagram Reels from like video editors and, personal trainers and, people. And then I look for Reels that they have where they use the term AI. So now I'm getting a domain-specific expert that's recommending a particular AI tool. They're not an AI expert, but they're a domain-specific expert in their own thing, which tells me, okay, like this thing is big in that niche, and then I can create content which will allow me to branch out and get some people that may not necessarily be interested in AI automation as much as they are the niche, but I can use that niche as like a way to funnel them in. So like smart repurposing, I would say. I guess that's not it's more like parasite stuff, but yeah, that's pretty big. Let me think more. Outlines. I'll show you today how I'm looking to use AI to help start generating outlines for content. So that's one of the things that I'll be covering just like at the end of the video when I do my strategy. Basically, I'm going to be using deep research to help do research on topics to allow me to create a large amount of content quickly. But yeah, those are some big ones. Yeah. So pain points are definitely ideas. They're definitely like ease of content, friction involved, and so on and so forth. Your Impact Investor says, just focus on the boring. This is the realest advice ever. Success isn't flashy. It's just consistent execution. Does that resonate with anyone else? Yes. Just hitting the daily grind. Keep it up. The worst that your campaign will ever perform. Yeah, I agree. Okay, Chase has, and man, I am answering a ton of questions today. Chase says, I think Iman pushes all shorts content to Instagram because typically shorts viewers convert differently than long form viewers. Very true. I'm noticing that the conversion potential, the monetizability of shorts viewers is a lot lower, understandably. I forgot where I saw the breakdown, but it talked about how people who mostly have short form channels, when they try to post long form on it, the videos get nearly no views because the audience they build consumes mostly shorts. They'll be a lot less likely to click on the channel and watch long form content. That's true. So for him, since all of his launches are long form, it wouldn't make sense to push shorts consumers to a long form channel. Not sure what he does on Instagram during launches to convert those shorts audience from clipping channels, but typically it's better to create a separation of the two for these clipping channels as you scale in size and views. Wow. Strategic. That's why a lot of big content guys have their main channels and then have separate shorts channels that points back to another short form platform versus pointing to the funnel entry or long form content. Yeah, you know what, Chase? This is brilliant. I think you're bang on here. I think realistically what I'm going to do, and I've mapped this out a couple of times, but I think realistically what I'm going to do is I'm not going to push them to YouTube. I'm going to push all of these channels over to my Instagram, which is short form. It's slightly longer form than the short form stuff, if that makes sense. And it's where I talk about AI news and stuff. I'm going to take all of that content, all of those people, and then I'm going to funnel them to a newsletter. So the newsletter is again going to be like bite-sized, okay? So if we look at my rainbow stuff and I have like channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right now we're doing 5 across a couple of platforms. I'm going to funnel all of these to Instagram, which is also short form, right? Then from here, I'm going to go to my newsletter. Don't get me wrong, there'll definitely be cross promotions between this and like my YouTube, of course, right? I mean, like you'd be silly not to at least put some mention of it there, but I'm not going to make that the primary thing that the call to actions are all about. It's going to be to the newsletter. My YouTube's also going to funnel a newsletter. Other stuff is going to funnel into the newsletter. And then my beautiful rainbow funnel here will hopefully convert to my paid products. So I don't know, Maker School, for instance. That's the whole idea. But yeah, brilliant point. Okay, one more from Sarcasm. Hey, Nick, been really loving these daily videos. Man, if I keep on doing this many questions, I'm not going to have any. Look how close we are to the top. Really loving these daily videos. Listening to them while doing client work has been really helpful. I saw an interview you did recently where you mentioned sitting on the sidewalk after a brutal day of door-to-door knocking, and that's where you said stuff really changed for you. Yeah. It wasn't just sitting on the sidewalk. I also was in a McDonald's and I shared some fries with a homeless guy. That was brutal, man. Yeah, he was just like the most depressing situation, I think. And I was just there in the McDonald's, like slowly eating my fries because I couldn't really afford, well, I mean, obviously I could buy a McDonald's Big Mac if I wanted to, but like I really didn't have the money to be doing that every day. So I've noticed that business is genuinely just how long you can do the right outputs while avoiding all the negativity your mind and emotions bring to screw it up for you. You are 100% correct. I'm wondering how you stayed strong during the hard times of not getting a single sale or hopelessness that allowed you to stay strong until you finally started seeing results. Also open to any resource or recommendations on stuff to check out. Also, my bad for the long messages. No, that's cool. I don't mind. Hopefully nobody else here minds. I would agree with you. I think I had this one sort of like, I don't know if you want to call it like realization, but I had this one moment where like everything just kind of clicked for me. I don't exactly know. Sorry. I don't exactly know when this was, but I distinctly remember just having like this waterfall, like eureka moment where, I was at the front or the start of my entrepreneurial journey and things weren't going really well. And then I mean, I must have read something or I must have had a conversation with somebody, maybe my business partners at the time, one of them anyway. It was something along the lines of, I only have two possible outcomes. Either I win or I give up. Basically, if you just don't give up, it is inevitable that you will win. And I know that sounds really simple, but if you internalize it, if you have that like eureka moment where you're like, wait a second, it is impossible for me not to win as long as I don't give up. Giving up is actually the only possibility where you don't win. So that's the only thing you have to avoid. Like if you just don't give up on whatever your day-to-day work is, on whatever your actionables are, like it is inevitable that you will succeed. It is like crazy for me to be saying this now because I already have goosebumps thinking about this. It's the simplest realization ever, but it's literally like, you give up and die or you win. So just don't give up. The only other alternative is to win. Now, it means one thing to understand this intellectually. It's a whole other thing to really get this on like a deep visceral level. If you just know that giving up is the only failure mode of your whole life, like giving up is the only issue, it's the only problem. Every other problem, lack of execution, variable emotional state, I don't know, like inability to monetize, poor strategy, poor tactics. These are not like problems, okay? These are symptoms of the problem of giving up. If you just avoid the giving up to begin with, if you can just get and really, really good at just not giving up on stuff, like no matter what, that is the big lever that will allow you to crush everything else. I'm trying to think about it in a bunch of different analogies. Like the big problem that most people have, that everybody has really in entrepreneurship is not, inability to do things or a lack of skill or a lack of like tactical knowledge or lack of education or anything like that. The only problem is the giving up problem. So if you could just avoid the giving up problem, then it doesn't matter that you're not good at the thing. Like eventually you will get very good at the thing, better than anybody else. It doesn't matter that you don't have the education or the background or the skill or the resource. None of that stuff matters when you zoom out. As long as you don't give up, you will eventually solve all of those problems. Human beings are remarkably adaptive. I know, obviously, I'm an AI automation guy, so I'm talking about human beings and AI being better than human beings in many things in the same sentence. But human beings are remarkably adaptive, and all of the things that we do tend to compound given enough time. So literally, if you just think about it, like the only possible failure case of your entire life is that you do not stay or you do not stick with the thing that you are doing. No matter what it is that you're doing, even if it's the lowest return on investment thing on planet Earth, if you just do it for long enough, you will eventually win. So, just see this as a fork in the road, I guess, where, this is just, there's two paths here, right? And you either win, which is amazing, or you give up. There's nothing in between. It's just you give up and you lose and die, or if you just don't give up, you will win, right? This is the thing to be avoided at all costs. And if you structure life in such a way that you can't avoid it, you will inevitably and invariably make it. I think that was the big realization that I had right around that time. So it was tough, right? But I also just zoomed out and said, huh, like there's really no reason why this would. You know what else is actually really cool? Crystal Society. I think it was called Crystal Society. Yeah, there we go. Let me see if I can get this. I'm a big sci-fi fan, right? One of my favorite authors here, Max Harms. He's not like an author, but anyway, this is a really, really cool book. All right, really cool book, and it's basically all about this artificial intelligence that like wakes up and becomes extraordinarily intelligent. Okay, and there's this one line on this, and like I know this line so well. Uh, it's just like one line that I happened to read in this sci-fi book. Um, and I just read it and I remember like this made that 10 times as valuable. If you guys love sci-fi, check this out. It's probably like the best book I've ever read on like an AI gaining some sort of sentience or awareness. Let me see. No reason. Okay. So the context here is basically there's this artificial intelligence that is trying to bootstrap its way into accessing the internet. And so there's a lot going on in this book, and like it's very high level, and it's basically like this big microeconomic setup between all these different like artificial intelligences, and they're trying to take control of their body and whatever. Anyway, none of this stuff matters. The task is they need to somehow bootstrap HTTP requests. So they're sending some sort of GET request to some server, and then the server is a dictionary. So what they're doing is they're saying they're accessing a page that's like dictionary.com/hello, then another one called how are you doing, right? And then what they're doing is, because when you send a GET request, there's some server log somewhere where you could see that, they're using this as a mechanism to communicate with some engineer, and they're actually asking the engineer, hey, can you make me some tool that I could use to like escape from my shackles? It's pretty cool. As you could obviously see, this guy, Max Harms, he's done some thinking about how something like this might be able to bootstrap its own escape. So that's the context here, okay? And if you're not into sci-fi, just stay with me for a second. Basically, they mapped out this massive strategy that they're going to do. And they sent thousands of page requests, and they sent it to all of these people, and nobody got back to them. Okay? By nightfall, not a single target had responded to us. But because it's this artificial intelligence, and because it's not prey to the same issues that like human beings are, which are that we tend to be demotivated by simple failures or a lack of response, or we tend to struggle with things like, being able to persist in light of no positive feedback. I read this and I remember thinking, holy shit, this is like my whole life right here. So by nightfall, not a single target had responded to us. Still, we continued. There was no reason to think that the plan was fundamentally in error. Perhaps we had simply gotten unlucky. This, to me, I think just demonstrated like the difference, and I know it's fictional, but the difference in just thinking between like perfectly rational, logical systems and then us very fallible humans in many respects. Like we tend to get so demotivated when we don't see a result to what we're doing that, oftentimes we use that as some excuse, or we blow this out of proportion, or we make that be the reason why we don't continue. We quit, we give up basically. But if your plan is not fundamentally in error, if you believe in the foundations behind your plan, there is no reason for you to take that as I should quit. There's no reason for you to take this as it is not working. Everything is just statistics at the end of the day. You might send 500 cold emails. You might get 0 responses. But if your foundation is good, if you are clear that the quality of your writing is solid, the quality of your outreach, the time of days that you're posting and sending a communique, your lead list, right? If you believe in that, odds are you might have just gotten unlucky. You should just continue doing what you are doing longer than you think it will take in order to see a result before you actually do. So I know this is a roundabout way to just press upon that point, but I hope you appreciated that. I know you left me a long message. I figured I'd leave you a long response. Let's move over to some brand stats, shall we? All right. So we got our little spreadsheet over here. It's currently March the 5th. Jumping on my daily updates channel, we are at 1,243. So as you can see, we went up by about another 40. That's a little earlier in the day versus when I recorded this last. So I think that is to be expected. I don't know where my phone is. Okay, I don't actually have a lot of time today, so I don't think I'm going to go and grab my phone. I think I'm just going to guesstimate by going Nick_Saraev, 28,800. So I'm just going to leave this as 28,800. We went viral yesterday on one of my clips. The clip was this one here, right? 73.2K in like 14 hours or something like that. So this is probably the biggest and most successful one, growth-wise, just in terms of sheer numbers over time to date. The other one that was really big was obviously the 593K one. That was back when Mistral, DeepSeek, and a couple of these bigger models were all released right around the same time, and there's a lot of market interest for that. But yeah, this is a big one. So it's not unsurprising that I've gotten a big spike. This is basically my second biggest day on record, which is cool. And it goes to show that like there's nothing fundamentally in error with the strategy that we're doing. It's just a matter of doing it enough, right? Just statistics. Okay, aside from that, let's go over to my main channel here. Right over there, Nick Saraev, 55.9K, so we're 55,933. I've gained 417 in the last 24 hours. Obviously, good example, just never given up. I've had a couple of days here that were just kind of crappy in between, but I focus not on being perfect. I just focus on being consistent. Eventually, I have those spikes. The slope of this graph goes up. As you can see here, the growth sort of plateaued right around this time. Not plateaued, but it slowed down markedly, right? So if I look at like just the slope of a graph, the rise over the run, which is just where, it's a quick and easy way to measure growth. I was about like this. I want to say, sorry. So this is how I was for quite a while. And if you guys were with me, you guys remember I was like, this is slowing down. Is this still kind of the way to go, right? If we extrapolated that, I'd probably be, like 5,000 followers less than I thought. But after that, we picked up. And I mean, this most recent one is huge. I mean, we'll meet my YouTube, assuming we continue that growth in just a couple of weeks. So that's pretty big. I'm obviously pretty jazzed about that. Now, in terms of what I'm going to do today, I have some strategy I'd like to run through specifically. I want to make an outline for a video. So for context, I made a video yesterday called 6 Years of Prompt Engineering in 53 minutes. Or $2.4 million worth of prompt engineering hacks in 53 minutes. I think I ended up making some changes to that. The video was great. It was a solid video, right? As you saw, it was one of the top ones that I posted in the last little while. The issue is the amount of time that it took for me to make it. It ended up taking me about 5 hours. I had to re-record the video twice. There was some like recording issue where my screen froze and like I think my cable like kind of came disconnected or some shit. Kind of stupid. What I also found was the content outlining period also took me like another half an hour. So I don't have the time to spend 5 hours on doing that. Like I had a lot of other responsibilities I had to do that day that I've unfortunately had to push to today. And, jury's out on whether or not I'm going to figure all that. But, I made it my responsibility to get the content out, right? So what I'm experimenting with now is I'm experimenting with slightly different ways of producing outlines for this stuff. I have one here called 39 N8N hacks I wish I knew earlier, and then 2.4 million earned. What I'm experimenting with is deep research to come up with this stuff for me. So I asked deep research to come up with a very long outline, basically, all about N8N hacks, okay? And it was 82 N8N hacks or something like that. I've seen a lot of people do videos on this. So I basically wanted to take the best of all of the videos that I've seen on this, combine them all into one, and then have AI also go a little bit further. And what I ended up with, obviously I don't want to actually do 82 hacks. I just wanted to give it a specific number, and then I wanted to like push to achieve that number. I'm probably going to take a subset of this, and then I'm going to turn this into like my actual video. But what I have to do, like if you think about it, if you want to structure this in an intelligent way, like I need to know what I'm talking about before I actually do the thing, and I don't actually know. So I'm just going to go through all 82 of these hacks right now. I'm going to skip through the ones that I think are dumb. And also, hold on a second. We don't actually have 82 hacks, do we? Yeah, we don't. It only generated me 60. But it told me that it was doing 82. That's stupid. Whatever. So I'm going to go through these, and I'm really quickly just going to verify that I can do them. If I can, I'm then going to copy and paste these over to a Gamma doc, which is just where I do my outlines. It's a lot easier because I can stick it on my laptop screen, and I can talk about it as if like I know it all off the top of my head. Like I have I have my laptop screen here, and then I have my main monitor over here. I can just put it on my laptop screen, and then while I'm talking, kind of look down. I'm like, what's the next thing? Oh, right, it's that. Okay, and then I can continue. It makes my post-production really easy. But okay, cool. So, assuming that this piece of content is called 39 N8N hacks I wish I knew earlier, how is sub-workflow orchestration? Sub-workflow orchestration, for those of you that don't know, is just where you add an execute workflow node Then you have your main workflow call another workflow, okay? So pardon me, I have to sign in to N8N. And then I have to go and then create a new workflow. Then you see here, there's an execute workflow node. So I can actually use this as both a trigger, but I can also use this as a action. So I could have this called by another workflow, and then I could execute another workflow. So basically what I need some example of me doing this. So AI is obviously the main one, and AI agent that executes a workflow trigger calls something else. But that's not the only one. Obviously, I know how to do that, so I am good. Sub workflow sounds good to me. Why don't I actually do this a little bit easier for me? Why don't I copy this whole thing and then paste it into a Google Doc? Because if I don't, then I'm going to lose track of my writing, right? Okay, so what's a quick and easy way of me verifying that this works? Can I just highlight? Highlight looks good. Sure. Persistent workflow state with static data. So workflows can store persistent state between executions using the static data API by calling get workflow static data global or node. In a code node, you can read or write small data like the last process ID or timestamp that N8N saves to the database. I have never used this before in my entire life. So why don't I go over here, go edit fields. Can I just call this? I don't think I can here. Is there a vars? So is it get workflow static data? I don't know. Let me take a look here. You can save data directly in the workflow. This should be small. Do I need a code node? Okay, we have a demo here. So webhook, get access token. Where am I getting this access token from? Doesn't look like I'm getting it anywhere. Set token and static data. Okay, so it's a code node. So I think I have to use a code node to make this work. So let me go over here. Then why don't I create a code block? Whew. Okay. Can I just do this? Test me. Test me. So global data, get global workflow static data, access this data, update its data. Okay, let me just like paste this in and make sure that I understand this. Const workflow static data equals get workflow static data global. So this is me getting, accessing its data, last execution, workflow static data. So this is the variable, dot last execution. Okay, updating its data, workflow static data dot last execution equals to new date. Okay, let's just go hello. Can I not set variables in this way? Why can't I set variables in this way? Oh, geez. It's probably been a while since I've done this, huh? Clearly. Because I don't even... Clearly, I don't remember how freaking JavaScript works here. Okay, so it's probably just the lack of semicolon. It's just something silly. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so if I do this and say, I don't know, cookie. Now I have 2 items, I imagine. Yes, okay, cool. So I know how to do that. That's fine. That's not that hard. So we should be able to just pump it. Whoa, that is a different color than I wanted. I wanted this color. So nice and soft. Multiple triggers in one workflow. Right, I know how to do that. So you basically just add a variety of triggers, right? Here we have test workflow, but you could also, for instance, add a chat trigger. And then you could bundle both of these into like an edit fields node. And now you have 2 triggers. One, you could test. Then another, you could chat, right? Both trigger this, which is fine. So we are 3 for 3 right now. This is looking pretty good. Advanced data merging. The merge node is very powerful. You can combine data from multiple branches once both are available with modes like combine by key, combine by position, merge all separate items. Yes, I can do this. I've actually done this as part of my flow. The merge node is awesome. SQL like joins and merge. Beyond basic merging, the merge node even offers an SQL query. I don't know, man. I don't really know if I want to talk about SQL here. Probably intimidate some people. Looping and batching with split and batches. Yes, yes, this is good. This is very good. I know how to do this, so no problem. Flexible transformation with the set node. The edit field set node is a Swiss Army knife. I mean, I kind of know that, right? Like, that's not real rocket science. I think everybody knows. Well, do they all? Man, maybe I should just like make this super accessible. Because, you know, this would take me like 30 seconds to say, but there are probably some people that wouldn't know how to use the set variables node or the edit fields node. Yeah, okay. Okay, the standard if node and NaN isn't limited to one check. You can add multiple conditions in groups to logical and or. So what if I go if right over here, okay? Add condition. Well, that looks pretty easy to me, right? You can add multiple condition lines. Well, I get that, right? Like, no shit. Is that really, really rocket science? Maybe instead I should talk the switch node. The switch node looks way better. 'Cause now I actually have a variety, right? I have 3. Okay. So why don't we do this, but then also say, oh, you know what? It's right over here. That's really stupid. Okay, well, whatever. Pausing workflows. The wait node. Yeah, we should definitely cover the wait node. Not everybody knows about it. Asynchronous external wait. More impressively, the wait node can resume on an external triggers. Wait for webhook call, wait for form submission. This is not something that I've done myself. So let's do a webhook trigger. Let's wait. And then, well, maybe we got to do like an edit fields node or something. We'll do a wait, and then we'll do like a webhook response, respond to webhook. So I could respond, I could do wait, I think, something about on webhook call, waits for a webhook call before submitting. So the webhook here will be generated runtime, you reference the execution resume sent somewhere before getting this node. I'm unclear on exactly how to do this, to be honest. Do I need a test event? Shit, yeah, I need a test event. This is a get. Yeah, it's a get. So copy, paste, done. Set the respond parameter to using the webhook node. Okay. Why don't I test this again? Paste this in. We're waiting for a response right now. So that executed successfully. Edit fields node is now, let's just test this with that data. Cool. Can we just pin the webhook outputs? I keep forgetting. Yes. Yes, we can. Pinned edit fields. We'll now wait. So I'm going to wait until, man, when is the webhook? Waits for a webhook call before continuing. So do I need to like hit this again? Is that what it's saying? Do I hit this twice? Test this. Execution will continue when webhook is received on and in cloud webhook waiting -6581. Is this 6581? No, it's not. Where do I get the webhook call, man? Like, where do I get the ID of this? Okay, so that's cool. Then I respond to my webhook. I don't really know. The webhook here will be generated runtime. I reference the execution resume URL. So what do I need to? I need to somehow send this execution.resume URL somewhere. All right, well, fine. That's fair enough. I think I got it. Yeah, I can do this. That's no problem. The trick, I think, is just going to be like creating examples for all of these, you know? Like, how the hell am I supposed to create examples for all of the, oh shit, I got to do my weekly office hour. Okay, anyway, I got to do my weekly office hour, so I'm going to call that there. But this is more or less what I'm going to be doing for the course of the next like hour or so, just verifying which ones of these work. And then I'm going to sprinkle in my own stuff that may be better or worse. I don't know. And then if it turns out that AI can actually do stuff like this, then I'm just going to have deep research come up with all of the 700 million things that you may or may not know about really cool platform. So yeah, let me call it there. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I clearly need to start setting some alarms for these weekly office hours. Speaking of weekly office hours, if you want to get into a live weekly call with me where I answer your questions, similar to how I'm doing here, but usually in way more depth and in front of a bunch of other community members, then definitely check out MakeMoneyWithMake.com, my premier community. I also do calls as part of Maker School, which is my 0 to 1 program to get your first customer. I just do that once a month instead of once a week. Really appreciate everybody's time as per usual. Looking forward to tomorrow. Cheers.